pros and cons?
Well, I thought it worked very well. We didn't give up 2-on-1s or breakaways, which we've been. Our F3 wasn't always there. We're giving up good scoring chances before. I mean, the shot clock had us out shooting the Raiders by about 8 shots, but Michelle Singh had a 30 shots each.
Yeah.
30 shots isn't bad against a team like that. And and I thought we should have beat the White we should have got about 4 or 5 goals against White. Kept shooting the puck over the net. I think 6 or 7 times we walked in and shot the puck over the net.
Tom, when you talked about F3, and the torpedoes terminology is 2 torpedoes, 2 halfbacks, and what's the
F3 was on our other forecheck.
Yeah, F3 is he's one of the halfback, or she's one of the halfbacks, right?
On their side, F3 is most of the time, unless they're first on the puck, then someone else has to slide back.
Okay. No, I watched that first game, and it was pretty impressive. But it looks like at your level, scoring is the hardest thing of all, eh?
Yeah, but we've averaged 4 goals a game.
Yeah.
Over the year. And we should have had 4 goals against the White. They scored those 2 goals in 8 seconds. When the goalie wasn't paying attention, then they scored off the faceoff.
Yeah.
My girls were shocked or whatever. I don't know if they changed the lines or what. I don't know what the deal is with this camera here.
I'll let you play with it.
Well, it's not that important that you see me anyway. I could just take the video off and have a picture of myself there.
Well, you got to meet Joey and Ed Lepp.
Did Joey play in the U of Saskatchewan?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He was on the team I played on. Ed Lepp was a backup goalie.
Okay.
So
when did he lose his eye?
I forget. I think it wasn't during his play there. It happened before that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'd have to ask him to be sure.
Yeah.
But really a nice guy. Graduated to be
he's a good guy.
Yeah. Be a dentist. And I remember coaching the Stan's Tire Trojans, the intermediate team. I had a player lost some teeth in a game, and I phoned Joey. We went over to his office and attended to them right away, and literally no charge.
Yeah, George Hill did the same thing when he lost his teeth.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story of George Hill?
No.
We're playing at Crowchild, and George Flin Flon bomber, eh?
Yeah.
So we're playing in the plus 55, and someone sticks their stick out and wraps puck right into his mouth. So he goes to the bench and just checks and sees if he's leaking. Comes out, plays the rest of the game. We go in the dressing room. He puts some money in that thing, gives everybody a beer. Then he takes his mouth guard off. The teeth are in the mouth guard.
No way.
He didn't miss a shift. The teeth are in the mouth guard. They had a couple of beer, then he headed over to see Joey.
Wow. Was Joey playing?
No, he doesn't play that hockey. He played for that team in the Rangeland forever.
You're playing this week, or have you skated already?
I play at noon today.
Yeah.
Today's at Centennial.
Where is it?
Younger bunch. I played Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah. And you're going to go out at noon today, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's younger guys like Mike Schumi, the big guy coach with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really good players about 20 years younger than me, and then there's a few guys about 10 years younger than me, and some guys about 30 years younger.
Yeah.
But it's a fun group. They play pretty good. So if I'm having a good day, if I feel good, I can do pretty well there. If I'm not, they're just flying by me. I never know when I walk out what's going to happen. Every once in a while, I'll get 3 or 4 goals because they pass the puck so well.
Yeah.
So it all depends. But enjoy doing it anyway.
Tom, over your coaching and the creation of line combinations, how much have you had to play with them, or how soon does it take you to settle into combinations, or are they always a thing to play with?
Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
Yeah, I like this year we experimented a lot, and then we came with these solid lines, and then our top line, Lily stopped passing. She made 2 passes the last 2 games,
Yeah.
the entire game, and it took Ainsley right out of the game because she was one of the top scorers in the league. She'd never get the puck when she breaks.
Yeah.
So we changed the line last game. I think they'd like to play together because they were partners the other day and they went together.
Yeah.
But Lily won't be at practice tonight because she's playing in Jordan with the Red Midgets tonight at practice. And she's going to play with them on Sunday.
Okay. Has she been called up before?
I can't remember. I think she's practiced. She might have played with them before. I can't remember.
Jordan, has she been called up before?
Well, Jordan,
I don't
it's
know.
not his team.
She's not on my team. She's
Jordan's
not part
calling
of
up
my.
Tess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be using Tess on Sunday, and I'm also just between you and I, Tom, and Wally, may look at bringing Ryan on Sunday as well and throwing one of my D up forward, because just borrowing a white player and a red player on Saturday, and then not borrowing them on Sunday. So it's been a challenge with so many injuries recently.
Yeah, we got one last game. That was our first one that's missing. She'll miss a game. She got a bit of a concussion against Okotoks.
Jordan, I asked Tom about line combinations and changing them around. You're still going with the pair in that third grouping, are you?
Well, when we have enough players to.
Yeah.
We haven't had 11 forwards in, it's been 3 weeks now. So we went to Regina with 10, and we went to last weekend with 10 and ended up playing with 9 in both instances. And we went with 10 to Okotoks, both of those games too. Just because I didn't want to take my roster to 11 and make more pain on the affiliate rosters than I possibly needed. So, but when it comes to line combinations and things like that, as Tom kind of mentioned, I've seen times where groups gel together and they come right out of camp that way. I've had that happen several times. And then whereas there's others you kind of just tweak and figure out what the fit is. The interesting one is that I go way back to when I was coaching U15, and there was a parent that I didn't realize that one of my first pitfalls with them was my line combination, in that put their child on a line that with someone different than they'd played with the year previous. That was probably the best player in the province at the time, and they just wanted their kid with that kid that was the best kid in the province, no matter what.
Yeah.
And but what I saw was that kid that was the best in the province was one of those kids that needed the puck on her stick more often than not. And this other child was one that needed the puck on her stick more often than not. And so if you play two of those
There's only
on the
one
same,
puck.
yeah, there's only one puck. So it was one of those pieces, and it was funny because thinking back on it now, is that girl had gotten as many points as she had the year previous playing away from that player, which told me that she developed more, and she ended up going on to having a pretty good post-secondary career no matter what. But it was one of those funny ones that was the first straw that broke the camel's back with that parent, was putting their daughter on a different line. But it's the little subtle things like that, Wally, that you know as well as Tom and I do, that there's some kids that can play with anyone, and there's the odd kid that can play with no one. So you have to figure it out.
Is that
Yeah,
go ahead, Tom.
well, that is the thing, is there's only one puck. And, like I remember that coaching Jim, the same thing. There was this one mother was always mad that her son wasn't playing. And Jim's line was by far the best line, but her son played very similar to him. So I did try them in the same line, and they'd be beside each other all the time. Jim would like to slip beside the net, eh? This kid would be Ryan, he'd be standing beside him. And it didn't work whatsoever. But this mother always thought I was favoring Jim.
Like,
Yeah,
listening to you guys speaking, does that sort of mean players sort of are locked into a way of playing at how old? And they can't.
It's not locked in, Wally, per se, but I would say we all have tendencies, right?
Yeah.
And so it's when you see those tendencies and those pieces, and yes, you're trying to make them be more complete players, always, but it's really, really important that we make sure that you use their strengths as well as trying to make them more complete. In my mind, I don't know.
Well, over the years, I've always found that as they move up the ladder, they got to learn to play with different positions. They have to learn to play with different people. And the sooner you allow them to play different positions with different people, they may adapt better moving up the ladder. For your outcomes now, it obviously affects the outcome now, but I'm just finding that the kid saying, well, I'm a center iceman or I'm a right winger, and with the changing game today, where it's just interchangeable, I'm wondering if this idea is changing the way kids play, or are we changing the way kids play, or are we just going back to the way we've done it? In other words, we're creating combinations because they're used to being a winger and used to being a center, and everybody's sort of locked into those positions right now.
I don't know, because I think when you get kids, and especially as you move up, you tend to get everybody that was a center anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of players like that. So I don't know. I think you just try for your own team to get them meshed, and you intend to try different things, see
Yeah.
who works together, and and like I said, there's one combination that all of a sudden it's not working at all. And I thought they were the best
Yeah, I
line in the
agree.
league.
So I think it's more about chemistry than where they line up in many ways. Right now, I have a right-handed shot playing left wing, and it's when is she lined up there? Only on face-offs, and she does play the left side in our D zone. But other than that, the three of them are interchangeable, especially in the offensive zone, and are creative. And it's more about how creative and how much they enjoy playing with one another. I think is another piece that they have to, especially with female hockey players. I find that they have to enjoy or think that they all care about each other playing with one another. Like guys don't necessarily worry about that as much, I think, but maybe they do. I don't know. I played with line mates that I didn't.
know I really prefer playing with some people.
Yeah.
You know, like I like to play center and I like to pass. So
Yeah.
if I'm playing with people I want to skate parallel to me, passing to them is really not that much benefit. You know, so like yesterday I played with this one guy that broke, well, two guys that broke all the time. And we were, you know, doing a lot of stuff. Where other times play with people that, you know, I don't know. It's just hard to play with them because they're not in the same mindset as you are. So
Yeah.
I think it's important to be with people that have the same kind of a mindset how to play the game. And if I'm playing wing, I want to play with a center that passes the puck.
Yeah.
I played in an Alberta tournament 2 years ago with this big guy. Thought he was John Beliveau or something. 3 games, I think I got one pass. It just was ridiculous. You know. In fact, the only pass I got, I thought he's not going to pass me the puck. So I just drove right through the middle of the D and everybody just to try to take someone with me. And with people surrounding me all over, he passed me the puck. There's no way in the world I could get that one. So, you know, so that's hard to play with guys that are on a totally different mindset than you.
You know, when I was growing up in Saskatchewan, I got to play senior at a young age, and there was exactly what you say, a line combination of 3 guys, and we're talking the 60s. And these 3 guys, they were cycling before the term cycling was used. And they were doing things that are being done today as a unit of 3 because they had just a common thought process. They had great skill, complemented each other, and nobody really knew what they were doing, but they certainly were controlling the puck together and making plays, which back in that day was, was a north-south game and maybe not as much of a dump and chase game until later. But I never realized until I visited this one player. He's passed away since, but I got to visit him in my hometown when I went there 2 years ago. And he started to talk about hockey in the NHL. And they played the NHL old timers years ago. I didn't go home for that game, but my brother did, played in it. And one of the players on that line, I think it was Mahavlich, that said he could have played in the NHL, this player, because he was so skilled and so smart. And then when he started talking about what he was doing when he grew up and playing on the senior team, it was like listening to Patrick Kane. He was seeing things and doing things. It wasn't coaching. They just coached themselves on the ice, and it was quite amazing. And I think probably we've coached quite a bit, and I think at times maybe letting them play and figure things out more might work just as well as, you know,
Get guys like George Hill.
yeah,
Okay. He was so creative and just, and I think in the 60s they were showing the offensive triangle,
yeah, oh yeah,
you know, the trailer and all that. And
yeah,
Well, Fred Shiro's eye,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, there's
those
always
sort-
the concepts. Like when I played in Bemidji, our coach went to a little conference by Tobe Lake. And so he came back and we played Montreal style, which was really head manning the puck all the time. And then it didn't, in the offensive end, it was 1-2-3. You didn't have to stay in your wing. In the defensive end, of course, you had to and be there.
yeah.
So I think there was always, you know, that was the late 60s. There's always been these concepts around.
Tom,
It- I was going to ask Tom, have you watched any of that gold medal pathway stuff that's been going out?
Who?
Our practices, the gold medal pathway stuff that Corey McNabb has been sending out.
No.
Okay, there was one yesterday that I looked at, and I was just going to pick your brain on to do with um, getting pucks and players off the wall. We like it. It's of course proven that the majority of puck battles are happening in the perimeter and on the wall, especially male hockey where they want the puck on the wall. But I mean, we're having difficulty at times against better opponents that we're not getting the puck off the wall, I think, clean enough or quick enough.
Yeah.
And or that the player isn't getting themselves off the wall like that. So I was just wondering if there's things that you've been doing.
Well, we will do that breakout sequence, but the players have to skate towards the puck. Because if you're waiting there with your stick and facing the D, there's no way you're getting that puck out. So if you can skate towards the puck, pick it up and touch it back, or skate to the inside, or it seems to work better. But the wall is, and the other thing we made the adjustment is be about a yard away from the boards. Don't be right on the boards. Then you got the defense off the wall a little bit, so you can chip it by them. Because if you're right in the boards, you chip it right into their shin pads.
Yeah.
So that helps getting it out, I think. I was listening. I can't remember somebody describing it on one of my NHL videos, and it said be about a yard away. And it,
Jordan, when you were saying off the wall, were you referring to the defensive zone or the offensive zone, or both?
It's both now, Wally.
Yeah.
It was interesting in the video they were showing, of course, in the male game especially, they're doing things from below the goal line that probably we would have taught not to do, which is basically throwing the puck into space, into the slot from behind without having an actual recipient. But it's also teaching F3 to jump low into that spot when the puck goes below the goal line. But
the NHL passes to the D in front all the time. Because all the forechecks, there's nobody there, right?
I'm meaning in the offensive zone, though, Tom. That blind pass in the offensive zone out in front of the opposition net, and it's
in the offensive zone.
Yeah, that one, and that we would have always said never throw the puck blindly out front because you're going to end up back checking.
Well, usually if you do it, it goes right to their winger, and the puck's going the other way.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is
I don't actually have a player in a absolutely always like Nate played with their F3 high.
Yeah,
and would just move in when they got possession.
Yeah,
and they were always there, and they would, I don't know if they were doing it blind, but they knew the player was there all the time. It was tough to defend the D doesn't want to move out. They want
Right.
to be a goaltender, and by the time they move, the puck's already gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, that's kind of what they're showing now. Well, they were showing NHL clips of where they touch the puck 2 or 3 times along the wall and then try and get it into home plate. So,
Well, the only thing that I know about playing off the wall, Dave King called it the soft shoulder. If you were the player with the puck, like Tom said, you don't want to be close to the wall and you want to keep your feet moving. And if you feel pressure on one shoulder, you turn the other way. So that's what he taught. In other words, that quick evasive stop turn, jam turn, tight turn, keeping your feet moving. Right now, Tom, with your team and maybe Jordan's, there's very limited use of the evasive tight turn along the boards, which means coming off the wall. So at the U13 level, I got to do an ice time last night, and we worked on that for the breakout, the retrieving defender, evasive tight turns only. But in the offensive zone, there isn't sustained possession, and playing off the wall is part of it, sustained possession, I think. But that term soft shoulder, I brought it up at a high performance clinic in Saskatchewan that Dave had me present at because he was concerned about the offensive focus. He wanted me to present a defensive focus to the game that's been lacking for a long time. And the skill instructor from Phoenix, I asked him about the off the wall technique, or a soft shoulder, it's called. And he hadn't heard of it. I was quite surprised because he knew Dave, of course, and I'm not sure whether Dave got to talk about it or not. But, like if you're looking at your teams, what would you like them to do more of and be better at in the offensive zone? Both of you.
Well, I think you want them to be able to win a one-on-one and get their head up and make eye contact. Because that's the one bane of hockey is, especially minor hockey, is blind backhand passes. It's way easier to protect the puck on your backhand, right?
Yeah.
And you just throw it, even in the NHL when they're doing it.
Yeah.
Almost every backhand blind pass is intercepted. And that, like we're going to play a game. I'm just doing my practice plan right now and play a game in each zone of 2 pass. And they have to make an escape move before they can pass. They have to go somewhere, skate to open ice or do a tight turn or do something, because players tend to stand still and make passes and then they get away too. So, a tight turn is a evasive move. So, that's, I know when you stand still and pass, you give it away all the time. Remember Murray Heatley said that to me. He says, Coach, you just think of every time you play shitty, you think when you gave it away, you were standing still. And that's kind of a truism about playing the game.
Back in our day, Jordan, if the coach just said, get skating, move your feet, that became sort of the cue word, skate. If you're standing, you're not skating, you're not moving, you're an easy target. So it doesn't.
I say my girls, play the game with your feet.
Yeah.
Play it with your feet.
The eyes up, Tom. I think I mentioned to some of you, team Kyle's Team Red U13 was having a practice, and they had all kinds of jersey colors. I couldn't tell who was on which team, but their eyes were up and they were making plays and passes. And I think it was 3-on-3 with two support people on the outside. And I've never seen eyes up like that. And I asked the coach, holy cow, they're really looking, their heads are up. And she said, well, they've got tape on their helmets, the same colored tape. And so the players had to get their eyes up to see what line that, who they were playing with. So that colored tape did that. And I thought that was quite amazing. And she shared the story where she got it from. And it was also coaching U13, oh gosh, 10 years ago when Mark Maloney was working for Global. And she said to Mark, how do you get them to get their heads up, their eyes up? And he told her, electric tape, colored electric tape on the helmets. So
I've never heard of that one before.
Have you heard of it or not?
No, I've never heard of that one before.
No, but it's a good idea.
I know Scott Atkinson would have everybody in just mixed colors.
Yeah.
For the same reason that you had to look and make sure your teammate. But think of when we played shinny as kids. Nobody had the same color on. Everybody, all totally random.
Yeah. Well, I remember George Kingston running his tryout camp. They didn't have numbers. They had different colored jerseys mixed up, and he would evaluate them based on their hockey gloves or stuff like that. I don't think it was, and the players played and they got their heads up and they knew who they were playing with. There is a benefit to that, but I think U13 applying that colored tape, I'm going shopping to see if I can get some to give to everybody and see if they'll experiment with it, because it really lends itself to getting your head up and mixing up players more so they don't get into their roles. The thing that bothers me is the defense. They practice their skills and just their skills. They don't interchange. Last night I worked on breakout. Everybody had to retrieve the puck, do an evasive tight turn to pass the puck while skating. Everybody played the low wing position. Everybody played the center position of support, low and slow, and they interchanged. They got very good at it. And I think there isn't enough of that kind of practice of interchanging, staying together with your line mates, but doing whether you're first, second, or third to the situation dictates. So I think we're getting there. I don't know if it's good enough yet, but Jordan, it sounds like the biggest challenge for you is injuries and bodies. Is that affecting chemistry at all, or?
No, it's not affecting chemistry. The kids have stayed positive through it. But it's one of those pieces that it just takes away from depth of your roster, and when you have people popping in and out, it's makes it a little bit challenging that way too. But no, the kids have made the most of it. They're welcoming of whomever's been in the roster, and with the way that I go about it, that everybody plays. So, and the kids know that. So they're not looking at it as, oh, now I have to take on a bigger role, or, oh, why is that kid playing on the penalty kill, or why is that kid getting an opportunity to play on the power play? It's they're fine with that part. So that to me is the most important piece. One different thing, Wally, on a different note, we did second Max Bell mile here after Tuesday's practice. And what that is they run a mile upstairs in Max Bell, mile. And we did it early in October after our team had been formed, and just wanted to see where the cardio was on the kids, their endurance. And they did it again here, as I said, on Tuesday, and all but one or two players improved their time by at least 10 seconds. And so it was one of those things that here we are. They should have been in the best shape of their year, coming off of training camp and all the work that they put in through the summer. Yet here they're in better shape now. And I'm starting to figure out what's the reason for that. And one of them has to be that they're now embracing the 40-second shifts, and they're going harder when they're on the ice, and they're still getting as much ice time, but they're just going harder when they're out there. So their cardio is coming up, I think, that way.
You know, the sports scientists at the U of C, when I was working with the national women, they used to do intervals, and they discovered that short, intense intervals complemented aerobic fitness more than long distance running. So you're right in that regard, Jordan. There's that anaerobic alactate, which is up to 10 seconds. And then I believe it's the alactate, which is sort of a hockey shift length. And then there's aerobic fitness. And back in my day, we used to ride the bikes, do the max VO2 test, and get scored. And I was not really, I didn't enjoy running and distance running. And I did the VO2 test at the U of S, and I did, I scored okay on it, but I certainly wasn't one of the top third of the team. When I trained for the national team, I did wind sprints, and I used to do 400 meters. And I didn't go all out, but I tried to do it within 70 to 75 seconds, and I did 10 sets. And then I did a Russian hop exercise with progressing from a hockey stick on my shoulder, simulating a skating stride, stationary, hopping one foot to the leg to the other. And then I added a barbell and eventually small weights. But it was 40 seconds that I did that for, and I took my pulse in between. When it was down to 120, I went again. And I did that summer before I went to the national camp. So I was doing that 75 second every 3 days. And every 2 days I was doing the Russian hop. When I got to the national camp, I was so fit, I just couldn't get tired. And when I did the VO2 test, normally when you do your VO2 test, you don't practice that day. You get the day off. I wasn't tired, so I practiced, and the trainer tried to talk me out of it. And I ended up having one of the top 2 scores on the team in VO2. So that it speaks to your shift length and the intensity of your shift. I experienced that back in the day where I used to think distance running is what I had to do. And I actually did run sort of like a half marathon. I was training like that. And I was losing weight. Gosh, I think I might have had 3% body fat. But you're right, Jordan, that alactic training, anaerobic alactic, that, it's from 30 to 20 to 40 seconds, it makes a difference. we don't think about it. It's like, I don't know if everybody's checking up on shift length, but boy, it's something to keep referring to and making people monitor it once in a while. The huddle. Can you explain how Instat has helped you guys? Tom, you look at it. How are you using Instat? Because it appears you're making use of it. You're using stats and adapting your coaching to some degree from those stats.
Well, I think it gives you information, and like our shift length has been too long, and I really get that from that. And I don't know, you can kind of see things. I like the little video I have made because I got it right away. But like I just got the instat of our Rocky Mountain game today. They didn't send it to me, and so I just got it this morning. I haven't looked at that, but it's handy to have it. Jordan, how do you send it to your own team? Do you ever send it to your own team?
Well, it sends it directly to our teams. I'm told that's why we provided them with their email addresses. They're supposed to get their own shifts that way. But Carla had a way in which she had the players clip and store clips to a kind of a common file that you could look at as a coach. And what she had them do, because we talked about it, and she said, I used to clip video and go through it for players, and she said some it would mean something to, and others it didn't mean anything. So she did it the other way and had the players clip video and put it in this common folder that she could look at when it came time that they would sit down and talk. And so it was like, you bring to me what video we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss it this time, but you bring the video. And so I thought she said that was very valuable. I'm going to try that. But as you know, Tom, it's a lot different being a full-time head coach as Carla was with the Edge or is now with the pro team than it is with those of us that are working with students outside of their school day, and that we have jobs or commitments that go along with it. So it's
very difficult to, you're in a dressing room, especially coaching females, so you can't go in the room they're dressing in, and it's hard to meet with, like on the bus. That's when I will meet with players individually or a line or all this kind of stuff. Like we're going to Red Deer on tomorrow, so it's not time to meet with everybody individually. But I think we've got them in groups of 2 right now.
Yeah,
basically, and maybe meet with each group. But I'd like to be able to get them to be able to see their shifts or the whole Instat thing. But
they should be getting their shifts clips sent to them. I think our players are. The other piece with it, the Instat report, Wally, gives the report on your team and their team, everything from analytics to Corsi to whatever, those things. But it's one of those pieces that I've also found that it depends on how good a video the computer has to run the algorithm on. So if they've got a whatever venue you were in, if the video was from above and the jersey numbers are highly identifiable, then you'll get good analytics from it. But if it's done from rink level or ice level, and sometimes the shift lengths and all of those things are off, and you're going, okay, so now it has this player as, and it'll be like a 7 versus a 17 or a whatever. It's just the computer's analytics isn't picking up when it's running its algorithms, it's not picking up the numbers properly.
Yeah, like Ryan's always number 6 on the Instat, and her number is 11, and I have no idea why that is that way. But
yeah, well, she was maybe because she was number 6 with us once. I have no idea. And yet, if I load her into the game sheets with us, her numbers, and it's same with all affiliates, their home number, their number with their home club is the number that shows up. And so then it tells you you've got two number 11s or two number whatevers. And so you have to go in it.
Yeah.
And that happened, actually did happen to us when we had her in the lineup against Okotoks, that she got an assist, and they came to us and said, you don't have a number 6 out there. And I said, on the game sheet. And so I had to go then onto the live one online and saw, oh yeah, because we didn't have Sarah Carney in the lineup, so we had no number 11, but her number 11 was fine then. So
Yeah.
she was on the ice and her name was on the sheet. We just had the wrong number with her. But
Tom, I thought you had shared on Team Snap one of the instats of all the girls' shifts. You had the girls' names, and they could click on it and look at their shifts. And yesterday, we were talking to Ed Lepp, who's the grandparent of that one of the better players on Team Red, and he said she looks at Instat, her highlights, all the time. So, Jordan,
Yeah, I don't think my players get them. I just, I was kind of late to the party on this Instat stuff. I never got any kind of a instructions on it, and I know it. Like I want to watch somebody's shifts, and it'll play like 2 of them, then it'll just stop. Like I was doing that this morning. I was trying to look at the goals,
yeah.
and it showed they got up on us 3-0, then we scored 3. But it showed the Raiders' goals and our first goal, and then it wouldn't play anymore. So it's frustrating when it doesn't work properly.
Steve, it's one thing for when I look at Carla would send me hers, I would just look at scoring chances or goals. And that way I got a feel for the game. I saw the goals were scored. You can see what was off a rush, O-zone play, which would be weak D-zone play. You got information from it. The players want to look at themselves. And I think that's what we haven't tapped into that. And this is a resource being provided. So I may investigate having a sort of a seminar with an Instat person and playing with it and seeing how we can use it better together. But particularly my idea would be making sure the players saw the highlights of their shifts, just themselves, and then you wonder what they're thinking of it, if they've looked at it or not. And the motivated ones, they'll look at it more than you or I can imagine. And that's what this particular girl is doing. And I think that the ones that do that, and each of you might have 2 or 3 on your teams, they're the ones that are going to really move on to the next step in the ladder. But it's a good stat. It's paid for by Hockey Alberta, I think, and I'm not sure how many teams are using it. But I'm going to find out. I'm going to contact Hockey Alberta and just to what degree is it available? How accessible is it? And how can we educate them to use it?
It's our leagues, Wally, pay for it. So it's anybody in the AFHL, U15 and above.
Yeah.
And AEHL, the boys side of it, U15 and above, get it as well. But don't kid yourself. It's paid by the players. It's not paid by Hockey Alberta.
Okay.
Like it's, you know as well as I do, they might be getting a deal for it, a license for it, but yeah, it all comes out of our league fees and that stuff.
Well, I think it's something we can make use of moving forward.
Oh yeah, it's a decent tool. But again, Wally, I'm just gonna go back to exactly what I said at the start with, if you're a volunteer coach, It's extremely hard to find the time to do video. And if you're a team that practices outside of the school day, not a sports school,
Yeah.
it's very hard to find the time to dedicate to video, because right now you've got all sorts of practices outside of the day. You've got to try and fit in dry land, and there's only so many hours, and the kids still need to do homework and those sorts of things. So it's yes, it's a valuable tool, but you got to weigh it against everything else too as well. So
Well, Jordan, I understand that, and even when people have time to look at it, they may be wasting their time looking at it because how are they able to use what they see and communicate what they see? How are they able to sit down with the player? And I don't think that's as necessary as we think. I'm just saying, if the players could access their shifts, and I'm not sure, Tom, if it was you, but somebody sent out the shifts. You just clicked on the player's name and you could see the shifts. That to me is all I think needs to be done. They can look at it on their time, and they will, because it's their shifts.
yeah, and like I said, Wally, that's what does go on. And Tom, I'll send you the email or forward you the email that was sent out early on. I'm sure you were on it. If you haven't done it, Alex, I'm sure can get the email addresses. You had to enter email addresses into a spreadsheet, and then they send them to the individual players. They all get their own shifts, and if it's not to their email, it's to their parents' email, whatever email they supplied for it. And so then they should be getting them. But again, it all depends on what video was taken of the game that you had. And like we had a game against Fire Red that we didn't get the analytics from it. I don't know why, but we didn't. And some of those are frustrating because of course, some of those are ones, well, we had an injury in that, and I wanted that video clip out of there to see parts of it and couldn't. So it's that piece that sometimes gets a little frustrating as well. But no, it is a good tool. Video is a great tool. And some kids will look at their shifts, as you said, some won't. Some will shoot 100 pucks a night, some won't. It's just the way it works.
Jordan, did you fill out or type out the addresses for Instat of each of your players, or did your manager do that?
I put them in.
Okay. So, Tom, you might have Jim call Jordan and see if he wants to set that up or to make sure it's set up. Because that's
Well, I'll ask Amanda, for my manager, if the players do get it.
Yeah.
There's no use doing all this if they're.
I just think if it's doable.
I'm not aware, because I got her to call Huddle or whatever and contact him and said, why didn't we get the Rocky Mountain?
Yeah.
Got it this morning.
Yeah, I did too. I saw that this morning. I'm just saying, Jordan, in our positions, how efficiently we get this technology in the hands of the players and in your hands. And if making sure the email addresses are they have on record to automatically send them out. If that occurs, that's ideal. You don't have to do any work. And how we can get to that point sooner than later is really important in terms of the development process. So that gives me something to think about and waste some time on. That's for sure. It'd be time well spent. That's for sure. Tom, when you were coaching Mount Royal, all the places you've coached, did you use video or not?
Yeah, but we didn't have Instat. We did video of the usually about the other team, what their forecheck was, and power play, penalty kill, stuff like that. We didn't spend an exorbitant amount of time on video. I use a video more to plan my practice, find what we needed to work on, and then do it in the practice. You know, because it's the same thing. Kids are rushing from class, they get to the ice, they jump on the ice. You know, so the day before, usually Thursday night, we'd have a video session because we play Friday, Saturday usually. That was kind of the routine.
Dave King was the first coach that I worked with that used video to the extreme. The one thing I learned when I coached the game on the bench, and I saw so many mistakes. I noticed what we were doing wrong. I would leave the game with a negative outlook, even when we won the game, being a critical, analytical coach. So I found when I did look at the game unedited, and it wasn't often, but when I did look at it, I appreciated how well the players played.
Yeah, I like that. I like a parent to put it on my little disc and have the game. The 60-minute game takes about 63 minutes if they just video the shifts.
Yeah.
And then I watch it and there's no emotion anymore.
Yeah.
And then you can look for different things. And by then and that way it's also on clips. So if I wanted to take a clip out of a power play or penalty kill or injury or something like that, that's kind of what I'm used to. I like that better than this huddle.
Yeah.
Just because, first of all, it works and it's not jamming up all the time like the huddle does for me. And I just like to watch the whole game, and then I get a much better feel. And and most of the time, like you said, most of the time they play a lot better than you think when you're watching.
Yeah.
Tom, so
Sometimes
I just looked it up and on the spreadsheet, and your team's emails are all there. So your team likely should be getting this.
Okay, so they're getting them good.
Yeah, they should be getting them. There's the only team that I see that doesn't have email addresses in is U15 Red.
Okay. And Wally, you're on our list, so are you getting them from Instat?
I get yours.
Yeah, and he should be getting mine as well.
Yeah, I think the two of you are the only ones I'm getting them from.
Yeah, because you're on our email list, our team email list.
Yeah. And I think I'm on Jordan's as well. When I look at them just to look at Instat and how can you use the stats? What's the most efficient way? And I'm saying if the kids can look at their own shifts, maybe they can tell you some things about what they thought of their shifts. In other words, last game, how many of you looked at your shifts? Put your hands up. Leave it at that. Find out how many looked at their shifts. And then ask anybody, can you share with me what you learned from it? And that's it. They're reflecting on how they played, what they did. They're interpreting it. It's hockey sense. They're thinking about how they played the game, evaluating themselves, and what better hockey IQ lesson would there be than that? Not you looking at it and telling them, but them looking at it and telling you if you want. And you don't have to. They'll look at it and learn something from watching it. So they're ahead of us. And if they're going to look at it, boy, I would encourage it to the point where you might ask them to look at it and write you a what did you like about what you did, and leave it at that. Just celebrate it. And if you want to talk about, gee, what did you learn from it? See if they're understanding. They're getting too close to the boards, or their eyes are down. We're not using evasive tight turns. I don't know. It's just that frustrating thing for me is watching teams play at the U13 level and not do the evasive tight turn more often. It's limiting the game. But Tom, let me tell you, it's still better than the young boys game at that age. They are making passes. They are looking. Their heads are getting up. It's progress. And your passing stat, Kyle Wanvig had his injured player do it, and he's going to have that done all the time. They're beginning to appreciate possession and passing. For me, that's great. Now the parents might appreciate passing.
Well, what I want to do now is I want to go through Michelle's. I'll take the last period of every game because that's where the summary is.
Yeah.
And make one file, and then sit in the bus with the girls and show them how many passes they made.
Yeah.
And some of them are making 15, 16 passes a game, and other ones are making one or two.
Yeah.
And we're going to play the 2-second game for 15 minutes tonight, because that seems to be the thing that works the best.
Yeah.
But we're not passing as well as we did right now.
Yeah.
Got to get back to that.
Jordan, your passing's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's been okay. Yeah, our biggest thing is that, like I said before, is that we're okay. We're comfortable with passing it around the perimeter rather than getting it to the net and getting it off the wall. And we need to be better at that. So we'll be working on some of that.
This is sort of a conceptual thing in the ozone, and it relates to the open area, good ice when you've got the puck in the offensive zone. When the forward goes up the wall, they're away from it, they're looking at the point, but as they're coming from the corner up the wall, they might cycle it back, or they might see the seam, or they might see the open D-man. Well, the seam, that's the space to take to get the puck to the middle, carrying it, or passing it. So walking up the wall with the puck may start from, there's a direct attack. You might work yourself into bad ice in the corner, but now you're going to come back up the wall. And that's where the area of coming off the wall is from the hash mark to the top of the circle. It's that area that who knows is going to cover you at that wall. Is it going to be the D following you? Is it going to be the forward switching? So I've always taught the D has to finish the check before the hash mark, or the forward takes over. But teaching the offensive players to, as they come up the wall, what are your choices? Point? Where is the seam? Take the seam. Your eyes are up. You see the seam, but you can also see open players, and you have cycle support behind you. You've also got scissoring. And Jordan, I remember like yesterday, you had Kay come down on that goal. Father Bauer, she scissored from the top. Puck came down low, right to the slot with a one-time shot and a goal. Like that was a textbook goal in any league, any level. So they were doing stuff in the ozone that, like, that surprised me to see a scissor and a pass to the slot with a one-time shot happening within 2 seconds. It just was that quick.
Yeah,
So
that's something I want to do is get more scissoring going. We practiced that one, that the exchange between the forward and the D. But you watch the NHL now, they're scissoring all over the place.
yeah. There was a goal scored? Remember Uyghur's goal where he went
Yeah.
the length of the ice in overtime?
I gotta go, guys. Sorry.
Okay, Jordan, take care. Have a good day.
See you, Jordan.
Bye.
Jordan Tom, Uyghur went behind the net, the length of the ice, crossed the blue line,
Yeah,
scored a
Yeah.
goal. You were there, were you not?
yeah.
Now, I don't know if you saw from the top, but I know I saw right away when Rieger was carrying it, the forward ahead of him actually picked the back checker at the blue line. Back checker lost his balance. It gave him enough time.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about that.
What's that?
A lot of people were talking about that.
Yeah. Wasn't called.
I didn't see the pick, but remember the famous goal when it was tied against the Czechs and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
off and I don't know, Howard Chuck, I think, picked their guy.
Yeah.
But you know what? They were allowing a lot in that game.
Yeah.
Like the refs weren't calling very much that was actually happening on the ice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of consistent reffing, that
Yeah.
they were letting that stuff go for both teams, I thought.
Yeah. No, you're right. If they do it with both teams, it's great. It's really good. So
Yeah, tonight we're gonna work on a lot of offensive stuff. And and I'm gonna have Jim work. I established another number 3 power play.
yeah.
So basically everybody's on it.
Yeah.
And so they'll practice and they'll play in the games, come at and when it's their turn, like we said before.
Yeah.
But they'll learn the power play right now.
Yeah.
I didn't like the idea of them being kind of left out.
Yeah.
So I worked with them on the last practice.
Yeah.
Jim wasn't able to come. He wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
So I worked with him, and I want him to work with them so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
And then when we do the switch, they'll know what we're doing.
Yeah. So how much of your power play is structured?
Well, the breakout is structured. We do a double swing, and the D, we got our best puck carriers are the D, basically. We got one D in each set that is really good, number 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 11.
Yeah.
So they swing behind the net. Center usually swings one way, the other D the other way, or the other player sometimes.
Yeah.
And one player's at the far blue line, one's in the middle, just to stretch we don't do that drop back like the NHL does.
Yeah.
So that's set up, and they have the basic. We're doing the 1-3-1 and the low spread. So so once we get into that, the players are on the flanks that they're there, and the flanks will go down below the net. To run the low spread.
Yeah.
And there's the player in the middle stays there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a structure, but also said possession over position,
Yeah.
because we were getting that, I think the Flames are doing that. They go and they're setting up in their brain before they even get in the zone. They can't get in the zone so often. Apparently last game they stopped doing that because they started breaking out better.
Yeah.
Get in the zone and win the loose puck. Try to get a shot on the rush. That's what Gillett said really helped their power play.
Yeah.
Last year, he said, we go and we try to score in the rush. Then we win the loose puck. Then we get into our setup. And, and if you're just going to get into your setup, you tend to slow up at the blue line, and I don't know. So that's what, we want to try to score in the rush first and then win the loose puck.
So Tom, you've got 2, 3, 4, and 11 that are quarterbacks on the power play. Is that fair to say?
Well, they're capable of it.
Yeah.
But the swinging back, like to carry the puck up the ice,
Yeah.
all of them are really good puck carriers.
Yeah. Well, one
So
thing,
we got the option of using any of them.
I don't know, you can let me know. That player usually stops behind the net, giving time for the swing to occur. Is
Yeah.
that's what you sort of want, right?
Yeah, I want to get a double swing so that
Yeah. But the point is,
and the center swing towards the forehand side so the player can step up the forehand and give the pass.
yeah,
And the other D swing the other side. That's kind of our basic template for it. And we had the players decide which one would be at the far blue line, which one would be at the red line, stretching. So we kind of let each set decide who did what on the break.
well, something I tried to teach years ago was the quarterback, as long as they faked one way and went the other before they moved the puck, if they just stay there and go the way they're going to go, that little fake one way, go the other, it's just like an evasive tight turn with the puck.
Yeah.
That head fake, the body lean, the skater, the moving player, their eye up, their eye shorthanded forecheck, that player is going to turn with you. The fake, you go out the other, you've actually got time and space to get up the ice. So that's the
I agree, and that's that fake on everything. Like even when you get the puck, like Tom Wiseman is so good at that. Every time he gets a puck, he makes a hard fake.
Yeah.
He doesn't go anywhere until he's made a fake, and you end up leaning that way a little bit, and that gives him that half second to beat you.
Yeah.
And his dad played the NHL, and I'm sure he got him to do that, eh?
Yeah, he's one of the smartest players I ever saw play.
Yeah, he's really is a good player.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, man. You mentioned that before. He always makes a fake before he does anything. And
yeah,
that's something, if we could get all players to do that, it's a habit.
oh yeah, that's such a good habit, and I try to get myself to do it, but I'm so old now that.
Yeah.
But or Doug Kronk, his shoulder fakes.
Yeah.
Because I think shoulder fakes may be the most effective thing, is because when you're turning, you lead with your shoulders, right?
Yeah.
So I think the checker is just going to see your shoulders moving.
Yeah.
And you lean that way. Because Kronk would go down the ice making shoulder fakes, guys going this way, and Makarov used to do that.
Yeah.
Hardly even stick out on the puck, just make a little fake. A guy would go this way, and you're thinking, why are guys deke so much? And that was more his body fakes.
Yeah.
And I just put a thing on a guy talk about skate fakes, and then he shows McDavid and everything.
Yeah.
Said skate fakes are more important than the stick handling moves.
What's the skate? Is that a
You know,
crossover?
you kind of wide and you start going one direction with your blade and then the other.
Yeah.
You know, just a little bit of body motion, almost like a football running back.
Yeah.
You know, kind of. And all those kind of things, because everybody's working all these fancy stick handling moves, but I mean, you nullify them if you watch the chest and you just take the body, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can get someone to lean one way, that's a key to everything, right?
Yeah.
You get the defender to lean one way and then take advantage of that half second he just gave you.
Yeah. You know, Brad Wawrinka, I went to watch his hockey school one day, and he was doing 5-on-0 breakouts.
Yeah.
And every breakout, he had a fake look one way, pass the other. So if he wheeled and looked at the winger, faked, pass to the center. If he looked at the center, pass to the winger. And this was God 30 years ago, Tom. And that idea of deception and what you do, whether it's, going down the net and telegraphing your shot or looking at the far winger but shooting to score. That's something I'm going to incorporate into the U13's deliberate practice now with the global ice times. Because what I'm doing, Tom, Randy Cave is going to run his stuff at one end. I'm doing the other end and going to run stuff like this. It'll be experimental. And I did all the breakout skating and timing and support. The 1-2-3 idea of breakout and deceptive, evasive tight turns. They got it down working on both sides, coming lower, targeting with one hand, facing the puck. We worked on the stop and tee start so that they could face the puck. And I learned yesterday nobody could stop and tee start. The instructors had trouble with it. Mike Massey did a masterful job and demonstrated it eventually. But I learned with one player, she was there was a downtime and I had her go across the ice, Tom, and I think you've seen this. I had her do a right foot snowplow slowly, a left foot snowplow slowly, and a 2-foot snowplow. And she did it.
I've got the video with that under 18 team.
Yep.
From 2018 that you helped me with.
Yep. So she did that, and I think instead of the stop and tee start, that I would add to the repertoire of feeling the inside edge so you can always face the puck. And those are the technical details that's what I spend time on. I'm not a coach, I'm a teacher. And so I think the coaches got a chance to get exposed to those, and they're all with me at that end and learning how to get these points in at that young U13 age. So I'm pretty happy. I'm figuring out how to use that time wisely.
Yeah. I'm just sending you my practice plan right now.
Okay.
I just finished it. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to work on a lot of the D jumping up in the play and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
I don't know where all I did here. Attach file.
What's your theme at practice?
A lot of it's offensive hockey, moving the puck, which most of my players are doing.
Yeah.
But, when you get your top player not passing the puck anymore, that affects a lot because they probably have the best line in the league.
Yeah.
And now it's 1-on-5 hockey. It looks a totally different player. And I don't know why. I don't know why that happened. But it did.
That might be driven by the parents in terms of wanting to get better stats, look better for scouts and evaluators?
That's what Emily thinks.
Yeah.
She said her mother's always saying, did you check the stats? Did you make sure she got that assist? And
Yeah.
because it's a different player.
Yeah.
Like it just, it's really hard. I broke up the line last game and, Ainsley got some passes.
Have you talked to the player?
Yeah. But even at practice on Tuesday, we're playing and she's not at the red line yet. Her line mate's up there at the blue line and had to stop and wait. She was all alone there too. She had to stop and wait to stay on side.
Yeah.
And she never looked. I'm sure she had no idea the girl was there, which is, I don't know what happened here. Must be the coaching.
No, it could be the coaching and the conflicted message coming from, parents who want different things for the team.
Or maybe she's just reverting back to how she's always played.
Yeah.
I don't know how she always played before.
Yeah.
But maybe she's reverting back to that. But it's, kind of stops everything from happening, in my opinion. But
Your number 11, she's a unbelievably skilled player. And the biggest problem is when she overhandles the puck, tight turns in your zone, trying to create more time and space too often, and eventually gets.
yeah, well, she goes back. She'll go backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've talked to her and just said, we just need to get the puck out of the zone. So that's okay if you carry it.
Yeah.
But if you can't be turning back and starting all over again because your whole team is going forward, you're going backwards with two players on you.
Yeah.
And she gives it away a lot.
Yeah.
I said, let's get out of the blue line. And then after that I don't want to, you should have seen the goal she scored on Sunday. She fired it right under the crossbar, would have scored on NHL goalies. But she'd been better. She doesn't go back as much as she did.
Yeah.
But she could be a real elite player.
Yeah.
I've never seen a player that can cut into players coming at her and get right between them before.
Yeah.
And I think it's because she's one of the top Irish dancers in Canada, her and her sister.
Yeah.
I think they've got that agility from that.
Yeah.
But she is pretty darn good. Did you get that email I sent you?
Yeah, I just got a notification it's been sent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to it.
Oh, I forgot to put stuff on the top. I guess so.
Fire Black Practice. Then he got a second. He sent a second one.
Well, I tried to send you the Word one, but it said I couldn't send it because it was open. Maybe it did get sent. I don't know. I didn't put all on the top. I gotta.
Now I'm looking at your zigzag drill, Tom.
Yeah.
They go blue line to ringette, and they use agility skating, tight turns, stop starts, transition skating. And when they go down and shoot, are they leaving from both ends?
Yeah, they leave from diagonal corners, so 3 leave,
Yeah.
but 1 leaves, then gets a pass, then shoots,
Yeah.
and gets a pass from the other corner,
Yeah.
zigzags between the ringette and the blue line,
Yeah.
goes to the other. I've added this. This is a change I made a month or so ago. Now they go over the blue line, they zigzag at the other end again.
Yeah.
Then 1 shoots from each lane. And it's happening at both ends. So there's 6 players going at once. There's a video of it there,
Yeah.
but it might not be the double zigzag there.
Yeah.
It's a video of the zigzag. I added the other part.
You added the zigzag at the other end, eh?
Yeah, and I sent you a video of that.
Yeah, I've got it here. I'm
One of those. Yeah, one of those links I sent you. I don't know if that link is right here. If it's probably not updated, the one here.
Yeah.
But the diagram is the right diagram.
Yeah.
So that diagram there is 1 player going what they do.
Now you've done this before, but initially they shot outside, middle, outside on the other side.
Yeah, initially they cross the red line.
Yeah.
From, because there's 3 on each side.
Yeah.
And the first player shot from the wide lane. Second player turned along the red line and
Yeah.
down the middle.
Yeah.
Third player turned and outside the dot and shot from the outside lane.
Yeah.
I added another zigzag and they fill those 3 lanes and shoot now.
Yeah.
But from the ring, from the ringette line.
Yeah, that's something I want to do. I don't think I could introduce this to the U13s, the one you're doing today. If you have a chance to put
I did that with the U13s all the time. But
Yeah.
not the double. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It's just,
instead, if I can get a copy of that, I'm going to do that at one of the U13 ice times that I have a chance to run. It's called
Yeah.
zigzag, single zigzag, skating, puck control, shooting. And it's a goalie warm up. It's really great. Now, when they come
yeah.
up the ice, they get a pass from the corner, right?
Yeah.
And do they zigzag before they shoot after they get the pass?
Well, the first pass, you step out of the corner, you walk the top of the circle, you shoot,
Yeah.
then you get a pass from the other corner, and then you start the zigzags. So you get 2 passes. There's a lot of, it's a really, I put about 3 different things I'd seen together I made this one up.
Yeah.
I'd seen the Flames doing the zigzag between the blue line and red line.
Yeah.
And then I saw the women's national team doing something, and none of them had a pass to start. And I found that the players were leaving too early and the goalie didn't have a chance, to look up for the next shot.
Yeah.
So having them pass first and then going, that spaced out the shooting better and it added a pass.
Yeah.
So I've modified it. Yeah, and there's that three go at once just from the corner and fill the 3 lanes out. It's probably the first thing I use. So I kind of combined all those things into this drill here.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how it'll go.
Well, I'll send you right now. I'm copying. I'll send the video of the double zigzag.
No, this is the double zigzag video you sent me. Is it on here or is the single on?
Sure, if it's the double or signal, that's probably just a single zigzag because it's probably just a single zigzag because it's an older PDF. Because I just developed.
And you've
the
done
other
it
one
before,
recently.
eh?
Yeah, I've done it the last 2 months probably. I added it.
Do not
The reason I did
if
it.
you live in Alberta. Alberta homeowners are.
The reason I did it is I thought if they always go to the diagonal corners, they're always going to be turning right or always be turning left. So this way they turn right on one and left the other.
I'm going
So
to
turn both sides.
recording now, and I'm going to look at the video. We can talk about this. I'm just trying to get the darn. Three in each corner, and they go from diagonal corners.
Yeah, well, you know, three leave it, just three of them leave. There can be 10 in the corner, but three, you know, three go and fill the 3 lanes.
It's a great drill.
Yeah, it's really effective. So,
Wow.
and that's a lot of the stuff that I do. I take the stuff that I see other people do and I just adapt it.
I really like it, Tom. Good job.
Well, it's a really good agility skating.
You still there?
Yeah. I just sent the
Still
my
there?
team doing the double zigzag.
You sent the double, eh?
Yeah, I just emailed it to you.
Okay, I'm going to look at it.
This is an under 15 girls team. They're doing the zigzag here.
Yeah, and there's you know, and then you add different things, different kinds of skating, or they can only have it on one side of the stick, or you know.
The video you sent is the same one as the other one.
Are they going at each end?
The video you sent, Tom, I think is the same as the other one.
I'll
You
just
hear
look
that,
at it.
Tom?
See. I can hear it.
Yeah, the video you sent, it looks like it's the same as the other one. It's not the
I'll
double.
look. Yeah, well, I must have reattached it then. Yeah, I just.
Yeah, it's the doubles that you've shared.
Yeah, and the reason I added the other one, like I said, I found they were only turning left, and then the way their drill goes, they usually go back in the same, so that they'd be doing reps of going left all the time
Yeah,
or right, unless they switch corners, which they don't, you know. So that's why I thought I got to make it so they can go both ways.
yeah,
I was going to have the players, you know, switch corners, but then I thought if I just do it both ways at both ends,
yeah,
it's going to do, they go left on one end and right the other. Yeah, she's going. And I usually start off, they skate forward, quick hands, quick feet, and then maybe they face the far end the whole time doing transition skating.
yeah,
Then, you know, the Crosby doing the Mohawk turns
yeah,
and
yeah,
go backwards, or just keep the stick on the forehand side,
yeah,
but no stick hand, so they got to roll their shoulders.
yeah.
And you can do all kinds of things. But it
Well,
warms up the goalie pretty good. They get shots from 3 lanes, and kids, like, you know, the one that has really improved on my team is number 9, Kara.
yeah,
She right now is one of our best forwards, and she was probably the last forward to make the team, or
yeah.
second last. And now with all this puck handling, she's pretty good with the puck right now.
Would you say this drill has had the biggest effect on their skill?
Well, I think it has a lot of effect because it's a lot of agility skating, right?
Yeah,
You have to turn and stay balanced and handle a puck at the same time. And,
yeah,
you know, I think, and they're taking passes,
yeah.
right? So, you know, it works on just about everything you work on. But I'm watching them in the video here, and they look
Yeah.
pretty darn good skating.
Yeah. So, Tom, I'm looking at the diagram. I get the
Yeah.
agility skating at one end. They go down the other on the wall, and they do the same agility skating from the other side. And then they
Yeah.
Now, when do they take their shots? From the wing?
After they finish their third zigzag, the
Yeah,
first player shoots from the outside lane, second player goes to the middle, shoots, and
Yeah.
third player skates over to the other side and shoots. So they shoot from the 3 lanes.
so the first player shoots from which lane? Far lane?
No, right when they're, they come out of that and go down and shoot just straight. They're in the far lane already because they just finished the third zigzag, right? So they
Okay.
just shoot outside the dot. Then the second player's got to skate along the ring out line, go to the middle and shoot. And the third player along the ring out line for the far lane and shoot.
Okay. I might have to go to Crowfoot to watch it. It looks really good.
Yeah, we're at Crowchild at 4:15 tonight.
So you got your 2-pass escape moves, neutral zone, 2 passes shot.
My team can do 4 different options in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
And they know it, so I don't have to explain anything and I don't blow the whistle.
yeah,
You wait till the last person shoots, then you go. And
Yeah.
most of the time it works unless someone's daydreaming.
I'm going to look at these and study them a bit. I might dare to attempt them at the U13 level, but now that I've figured out how to get to operate something with the coaches, I'll be able to teach them to apply some of these drills. Be good.
Yeah, and it was Willie's favorite drill. Where it's a 1-on-1 and then on the whistle, the 2 players have to, the defenseman joins the attack and the forward back checks, and there's a 1-on-1 the other way.
Yeah,
But I'd only seen it with 1-on-1, and then when I'm in the Red Bulls, Pierre did it 2-on-1, 2-on-2.
yeah,
So you have all the players, and it's really good, especially at pro or university when you got 25, 26 players out there.
yeah.
You got a lot of like you were talking about running the is it the podies or whatever that with the pros
Potties. Ryan
potty?
Pardowski. Yeah,
Yeah. And that one there, you can do multiple players so people aren't standing still. I try to do a 1-to-3 work rest ratio on fast things.
Yeah.
So that they're resting 3 times for every time they go if it's something that's hard.
Yeah.
But just skill 1-to-1 is fine, I think. But yeah, on my screen, our game against Edmonton Gold popped up and it's on there. It was another game we fell behind early. It was a pass to the front of the net, hit our D skate and went in the net.
Yeah.
We end up winning that game 7-2. But see, we had the one thing that the Torpedo's good on wide ice.
Yeah.
And we played at Father Bauer, and we played on Sunday in Red Deer. That's an international size ice.
Yeah.
And then next week we play 3 games there. So it's really good for the wide ice.
Yeah.
So that gives us 2 different forechecks.
Yeah. Oh, I like
We got
it.
2 power plays. We're trying to use a 1-3-1, which nobody uses, and the low spread, which nobody uses. Low spread, tell you the truth, is we did it earlier. We scored quite a few power play goals on it.
Yeah.
And we really worked on getting the puck out of our zone. And it worked because Airdrie just killed us on it. We turned it over all the time. And Okotoks the same, but we were really good. We got the puck out really good against Okotoks.
What did you do?
We got swinging low and then you skate up and that D goes right up, backs into the D about a yard away from the boards. So
Yeah.
if the D passes, and the D got to pass hard too, or else their D just steps in front.
Yeah.
And you just chip it out,
Yeah.
center low and slow, and then the wide winger. Our wide winger was just stretching all the time.
Yeah.
We practice a wide winger with your sequence there. Wide winger skating in front of the D.
Yeah.
So they can pick up the chip out. Or if we got good possession, then they can stretch.
Yeah.
And that's basically how NHL teams break out now. And that winger will keep on going. They don't stop at the D.
Yeah.
They'll keep on going, but they're facing the puck a lot of times because they're kind of like a
So what you're saying,
chip out.
the winger is not coming to the goal line to receive a pass moving by the hash mark anymore.
Well, they can, yeah.
Pardon?
But, yeah, they can do that as well.
Yeah.
But you're moving. If you get the pass early, that's good because if D pinches, then you should beat them, right? If you
Yeah.
got the you're skating. But once you get up, if the D don't always move it right away or can't move it right away,
Yeah.
then when just kind of getting it out under pressure,
Yeah.
they got to fire it pretty hard for you to chip it out, or else,
Yeah.
Well, Terry Johnson, what he said that Brian Sutter told him in, I probably told you that in St.
Yeah.
Louis.
He'll
He said,
run it.
fire me as hard as I can and I'll run over the D.
Yeah.
And that works too, but maybe not in girls hockey.
No, this is good. Okay, Tom, I'm going to look at these things, and every team practices today. I've got who have I got? I've got Roberta, Mike, and Jordan's practice, so penciled in. I might get to a couple or one. We'll see. You
Yeah,
have,
we're at Crowell, so it's kind of, I don't know if anybody else is practicing there.
yeah. No, you're the only one at Crowfoot.
Crowchild.
Crowchild, yeah.
We're at Crowchild, not Crowfoot.
I've got Crow. I didn't put down.
It's Crowchild.
Yeah, Crowchild, yeah.
Crowchild Red, I think.
Yeah.
It's nice because it took me 45 minutes to get to practice at your arena the other
Yeah.
day. Going through the middle of the city. Holy jeez.
Yeah. Okay, we're good. I'm
All right. Okay, we'll talk to you, Wally.
okay, take care. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.